Good afternoon and welcome back to the Chamber for the final session of the day. My name is Rushanara Ali. I'm the Member of Parliament for Bethnal Green and Bow here in London. And I'm also the Vice Chair of the Westminster Foundation for Democracy. I wanted to reiterate a few quick announcements, a quick reminder that you are being filmed. I know it's the last session of the day, so let's liven it up, ladies. But we do need to keep it clean since you're being filmed. But do keep it lively. It's been an inspirational day so far, hearing all the amazing speeches and stories. The live updates on social media, you can carry on tweeting with the hashtag Women MPs of the world, and we want to get through as many speakers as possible, so you are now limited to 2 minutes in your speeches. This is what happens to us in the House when there are too many speakers. So 2 minutes to do your speeches, and you can order. you can keep an eye on the clock, and I've got our two fantastic clerks, Olivia and Carolyn. Can we give them a big round of applause for keeping everybody to time? And they're going to use their yellow and red cards again to keep us to time. And thank you all for the pledges you've made to take action. And please do take a look at the call to action document. It will have all the outcomes of today's conference. Sisters, it's a great honour for me to be chairing the final plenary of this historic event in this place that many call the Mother of Parliaments. And I'd like to start off by thanking the longest-serving female MP, who we call the Mother of the House, the Right Honourable Harriet Harman, whose idea it was to bring us all together on this momentous year for these celebrations. Harriet was elected, as you heard, in 1982. It's also the year that I arrived in this country at the age of 7 from Bangladesh with my family. And at the time, as you heard earlier, only 3% of the women of MPs in this parliament were women. And my mother and I certainly would never have imagined that I would be a Member of Parliament by 2020. So we are incredibly grateful to Harriet Harman and her generation of extraordinary parliamentarians here and around the world for making it possible for us to follow in their footsteps. Thank you, Harriet. And I'd like to thank the Leader of the House, the Right Honourable Andrea Leadsom, the Secretary of State, Penny Mordaunt, for their inspirational speeches and for making this event happen, this amazing conference happen, and also the officials across the different organisations who've worked together to make this event, this conference happen on the centenary of the Representation of the People Act. In the UK 100 years ago, women couldn't sit here on these benches, nor did they have the right to vote. Today, we see a different image, a truly inspiring one, with women MPs from all over the world sitting on our benches. The suffragette movement has been an inspiration to women not only in this country, but to women across the world. And we wouldn't be here today without their courage and sacrifice. And for me, as the first person of British Bangladeshi heritage and one of the first 3 Muslim women to have been elected into this parliament, I owe a huge personal debt of gratitude to the suffragettes of the East End of London, the area that I now represent. The suffragettes risked imprisonment, violence, the torture of force-feeding, the pain of having their children taken away from them, and even death. And to those women, we owe so much. And over the last 100 years, there have been so many politicians, women politicians, who've paid the ultimate price with their lives. As you've heard, only 2 years ago, here we lost our friend and colleague, Jo Cox, who was murdered by a far-right extremist. We remember her today and miss her dearly. I know if she was with us today, she would be the heart and soul of this gathering. And she would have been incredibly proud to see that this week, the first Native American women and the first Muslim women were elected in the US Congress. It was a truly inspiring image and the best response to the politics of hate and misogyny in that country that we see in the politics and around the world that's taking a hold, and that highlights why we need to all work together and redouble our efforts to fight hatred and misogyny and extremism wherever it exists. We have achieved so much in our different countries, but there is so much more to do if we are to achieve equality between men and women in our economic, social and political life. When today over 800 million people are trapped in extreme poverty, when 1 billion people suffer from hunger, and when violence against women and girls continues to be a global epidemic, with rape being used as a weapon of war in conflicts around the world. So as women, we have been and must continue to be in the front line in eradicating these injustices and inequalities. That's what I've heard all day, time and again, about the need to use our strength, to charge ahead, to work together, to change this century, to make sure that that suffering is ended. Change only happens when women organise together, and we will and we must stand in solidarity with women around the world, fighting injustices in our neighbourhoods, communities and nations. We have together come a long way, but we know that we have to travel a long way ahead to end those injustices that are blighting us and our societies in this century, because that will be the true legacy of the suffragette movement around the world and here in this country. Thank you for all you're doing.